The best weekend matchup in the SEC, the best matchup in all of college softball. It will be happening in Loves Field in Norman, Oklahoma this weekend. The last two undefeated teams in college softball, Oklahoma will take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Let's go ahead and look forward to the series that is to come in Norman. The entire college softball world will have their eyes. What's going on in Norman, Oklahoma? An interview with former Sooner, now current South Carolina Gamecock, Quincee Lilio, who's having a fantastic year. We'll talk with Quincee, and then coming up on Wednesday, another interview will drop with South Carolina head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard. So here's Quincee Lilio on her decision to leave Oklahoma, pick South Carolina, and her thoughts going into the big series this weekend.
A big series in the SEC is coming up this weekend, Oklahoma and South Carolina, and I know the excitement is high around here, and I know the excitement is high around South Carolina as well. So many interesting storylines. But we also get to see Quincee Lilio back in Norman, a player that I know a lot of OU softball fans have really been rooting for this year, have been very happy with her success. So, Quincee, I'll just kind of start with, when you entered into the transfer portal this offseason, and I'm sure that you had a lot of teams, very interested in you. What was it about South Carolina, especially with the new head coach? Like, what was it about South Carolina to where you said, like, this is where I want to spend kind of my final years playing college softball?
Well, when I first stepped foot on campus, I just felt like a different family feel. And when I was with Coach Katie and Coach Ashley, they just made me feel very comfortable. And I don't know, they just felt like moms to me. So I knew this was like the right fit.
We know Quincee Lilio as the infielder, the second baseman. Now it's Quincee Lilio, the outfield and at the outfielder. And obviously you've had a terrific start, but how has been the transition to the outfield? How have you liked that so far?
I love it out there. I practiced in the outfield my first 3 years, and I've always been like an infield and an outfielder, even in club ball. So this is like nothing new to me.
I don't know if you've thought about this just yet. You got another game coming up on Wednesday before you get to the OU series, but if you have thought about it, what do you think it's going to be like being back in Norman this weekend?
I think it's going to be super exciting. Opening weekend, SEC conference starts, and I'm just excited to play against the best. OU has always been one of the top teams for the past few years, so it's just going to be very exciting to open up against the best team because it'll bring out our best.
Absolutely. And this won't surprise you whatsoever, but it's going to be sold out all three games and it's going to be
Yeah.
loud. It's going to be Love's
Yeah.
Field. For you personally, though, like you've played in
Mhm.
that atmosphere, you know what that atmosphere is like. It's not going to catch you off guard. Is that any sort of an advantage for you? And do you think in some ways maybe you can help out your team kind of set the scene as to what it's going to be this weekend? Is there anything to that?
Um, Nothing really. It's just, remembering that this is just a game and this is a game that we all know how to play and just not make the stage bigger than it already is. So it's just, just playing in front of a bunch of there's a lot Loves has a lot of fans. So it's just kind of just remaining calm and just, staying focused with our plan.
What's gone right for this team? I mean, you've had the incredible starts, series sweep at Duke this past weekend. What's gone so right for the South Carolina Gamecocks up to this point in the year?
Just having faith in our process and just trusting our preparation. And this team just works super hard on and off the field, and we just worry about what's between the lines and just between like our team. So, I mean, it just all comes together and just we know that we have each other's backs and just having trust and faith in each other.
Well, and then certainly at the plate and defensively too, but at the plate, you've had this incredible start. Can you pinpoint one reason, a couple of reasons why you've had a start that puts you at the top of the SEC in a ton of statistical categories right now?
Just trusting my game plan. Coach Katie's a really good hitting coach, so I trust her as well. And I go to her for a bunch of questions. So just trusting what she's telling me and also trusting my preparation and just my game plan, I guess.
Well, what's interesting is, you look at some numbers and it's like you and Ella Parker, you and Ella Parker, a player that obviously you're very familiar with. She was awesome as a true
Mhm.
freshman. and
Mhm.
she's having a great
Yeah,
season once again.
yeah.
What makes, and I know that you only spent one season with her, but what makes Ella Parker so special and such a just a great hitter?
Ella Parker is a great hitter. She's a very hard worker, and she just doesn't get cheated. She gets what she wants, and she's very powerful. So she's just always been a good hitter, and I just felt that even when I was at OU, and I still see that now.
Well, and you had the team had a really good start this year, your team this year, and then you go to Duke, a top 10 team that was in Oklahoma City last year. I mean, that's a very good program. What confidence do you think this team gets, or what did the series sweep at Duke do you think did for your team coming out of last weekend? Because that was one of the more impressive, performances of the entire weekend.
We definitely have a bunch of confidence. We had confidence going into Duke, just because of the belief we have in each other, but just showing everybody that what we got, and it just gives us so much confidence going forward.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great coaching staff at South Carolina right now. You seem very happy, and
Yeah,
all of us are really happy for you
thanks.
that you found that.
Thanks.
But also, you left the West Coast to come to Oklahoma right out of high
Yeah.
school, and those are very kind of important years in your growth as a person. And you spent multiple years here at Oklahoma. So I guess really my question is that time at OU, how did it change you personally? How did it prepare you to have the season that you're having this year at South Carolina? What were some of the more important things that happened to you personally during your time in Norman?
I was surrounded by the best. One of the top classes in the country, honestly, probably ever in softball. So it's just when I was surrounded by the best, I was surrounded by so much wisdom, so much knowledge of the game, even coaching wise too. So I guess they helped prepare me, and just even though I didn't see much, they did help me grow as a player. And then even off the field, I grew in my faith as well. I'm super close with like Riley Boone. So she's helped me grow in my faith, and which helped me trickle onto the field as well.
Riley threw out the first pitch last weekend, and then they had the
Yeah.
circle around the circle actually, and she was pumping the
Mhm.
team up. It was just cool to see
Mhm.
like, oh, Booney is
Yeah.
back and doing her things. And of course, what TRA
Mhm.
is still on the coaching staff. Kinsey is on the coaching staff. Carly Keeney is as well. There is a lot of new on this team, but anyone in particular that you're really excited to see when you come back this weekend?
I'm excited to see all of them, honestly. Tiare, Kirsten Deal, Peyton Monticelli, Sydney Sanders, Maya Bland, all of them, like all the returners, and most of the staff members too, Riley Ludlam. So it's just really exciting.
Well, you mentioned the staff members and JT. I mean, one of the best in all of college softball, and seems like an easy guy to get along with, just a good dude. Like, what did? How much did you enjoy working with JT, and what can you say? Like, this is what he does really well as a hitting coach.
I love JT as a hitting coach. He spread so much knowledge, so much wisdom. It was something new every week, so I was constantly learning and growing as a hitter. And he just made it super light and super fun, but he also knew when it was time to get things done. So just being there, I just grew so much.
Well, give us a better idea of this South Carolina team and kind of the main players. I mean, obviously you, Ariana Rhodey came over from Charlotte. She's having a fantastic year. Just who are kind of the names and the faces that we need to know after this great start with your team?
I'd say everybody. Um, one person or a few people don't make a team. So I'd say everybody just needs to pay attention to everybody, I guess, and keep watch, because we all have a great, team, whether you're on the field or not on the field, we win with everybody.
Well, and last one I got for you. Give us a better idea too of kind of the program that Coach Chastain Woodard runs there at South Carolina. What's the program like? What do you think it's capable of moving forward? What's it like to be inside the walls every single day as a South Carolina softball player?
It's really fun, honestly. We have so much fun at practice. We all want to be at practice, and just like looking forward to being at like the field every day. but also like knowing when it's time to get to work. And Coach Ashley just harps on believing in each other and having each other's backs all the time and just building that trust within each other and just like culture. So I guess that's just how we roll.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Quincee, we are really looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Like I said, everyone's really happy with the season that you're having. It's awesome, and what happened with you at Oklahoma and just everything else is great. And best of luck. Best of luck moving forward.
Thanks.
And hey,
Thanks.
you've been to Oklahoma City before, so you know what that's like. So make it back to. We're
Yeah.
rooting for you to make it back to Oklahoma City again this year.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.